guys? Welcome to the Comics, Cards, and Brew show. We're at episode 4, Marvin. Can you believe that? Episode 4.
Episode 4.
We're like I'm like an old toddler now. I'm like an old toddler level, you know? BPK level.
It's like episode 4, A New Hope, right?
Oh, God. See, now look what you did. You just set the level of what we have to reach really high by saying we have to hit A New Hope. Now we're screwed. We might as well turn this off and do something else. We're done. Well, let me give a shout out to one of the buyers. So what we're starting to do, they used to recommend a beer they wanted me to try. This is from Cruz. He said, would you try Modelo? I said, hell yeah, I'll try it. My first time actually having Modelo, I actually think it's very smooth. It's actually similar to Corona. Do you like Corona, Marvin?
I'm not really a big beer drinker, so I'm going to have to say honestly and
no. Me neither. I only drink beer like I think once a month.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm a Rudy beer kind of guy.
Oh, okay. Hey, you know, well, here's the good thing. We're gonna try anything, so I'm getting back into that where they can recommend a beer, and
yeah,
I'll try it. Hopefully, they don't recommend one where I throw up or anything. That'd be terrible.
Nothing with like any bits of fruit or something in it, right?
Oh God, that'd be bad. Well, guys, as you can see, I've got the amazing Marvin back with me. We're here to chill and talk about actually a topic that has been discussed, argued about, spread like wildfire throughout the last year, and that still keeps some of the industry up in the air, and that is the distribution of comic books. And I'm not sure if you guys are aware of how different things have changed, but Diamond, obviously you guys know Diamond is no longer the exclusive distributor for comic books. It's now branched out to Lunar for DC, and Lunar now has Scout as well, which Diamond and Lunar share that. But now the biggest one is Marvel left to go to Penguin. Could you have called that, Marvin, going to Penguin of all people?
No, but I think that some of the writing was on the wall with that. I think that their book distributor was set up in a way that they could do this, or they could give it a try. So, I mean, it's still out on a chance, and we won't know until October to see how well this is going to work, or if it works at all. I mean, this could be a thing where within a year, Marvel could be coming back to Diamond because the thing with Penguin's not working. I did like that they're doing free shipping.
Yes, I love that myself too.
But my concern is that where's that cost going to roll out to? So someone eventually has to pay for those delivery charges.
No, that's true, because as we know in this industry, there's nothing free. If they say it's free, you better look around for the price tag that's like hidden underneath a book, underneath someone's foot or underneath the book. It's somewhere.
Some handling fee or something is going to cover those shipping charges.
Yeah, and I remember when I got the first email, like this all started. The whole reason this started was the pandemic, when Diamond announced that they were going to shut down and not ship anything. And this was back, I want to say it was right, if I remember right, it was right after spring break, because my wife was off, and it was right before all the schools and stuff shut down. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking, what the hell am I going to do? Because everything was through Diamond. So it's not like I could go to somebody else and say, hey, send me your shit. I was for the first time very nervous about the future of what's going to happen, because nobody knew. I mean, like when it happened, where were you in terms of with your comic book right now? What was going on?
So the same week that happened, it's funny that you said that. I had woke up that morning and I had an alert on my phone that someone had added me to a group on Facebook called Plan C. Okay. So I'm like, heck is Plan C? So what ended up happening is Jen King, she's a retailer from Space Cadet Comics in Texas, set up a group and invited publishers, creators, retailers to the group, and we're saying that who's got books. Oh. But when it happening was that all these people who weren't in Diamond or were in Diamond and had product started shipping stuff to stores. So I mean, I don't think it reached the crescendo that it may have could have. So you didn't know about it. There was a bunch of other guys who didn't know about it, because I asked them, like, hey, you guys know about Plan C? And they were like, no. It's like, oh, let me hook you up, get you into this group, because people had product to give. But then had nothing to do with it because Diamond wasn't shipping any books then.
Oh shit! Damn.
A lot of things happened in that time. Is that are you familiar with Hero Tomorrow?
Yes.
So I got Ted Sakura. I guess they contacted him and told him not to release his book So he ended up just going to Kickstarter and doing a Kickstarter for the book instead. So got it out to the customers. So he's just now releasing Bloom through Diamond. I think it comes out later this year or something.
Yeah, well,
but yeah, that was a slap across the face to a lot of people, where it's like, oh, we're just going to stop shipping books, and the retailer's like, what in the world are you talking about?
Yeah,
that's our lifeblood. And I know we lost a major retailer in Hawaii during the COVID. Store that was open for 30 years, they just shut down. They couldn't survive.
Man, and I remember when that email first went out. What sucked was there was no warning. It wasn't like, okay, hey, we're gonna stop shipping books in 3 months. It was, hey, listen, next week's your last shipment. There's nothing else coming out. So like we weren't given, and at least for me, I don't know if other stores were, I wasn't given like zero to little warning. And so I literally had to scramble and say, okay, I've got next week's books. What? They didn't say, oh, we're going to come back at this point. When they first announced it, all they said was, we are not distributing books for the unforeseeable future. Stay in contact and we'll let you know when things come. And that is the scariest thing to hear when you, like, my income at that point was 85% new books. So you just, they literally swiped the rug out from under me. And I remember calling one of my friends going, pardon my language, guys, you know, it's a little show. I said, like, what the fuck are we going to do? Because now I don't have any of this stuff, and I've got buyers who've pre-ordered stuff that was coming out 3 weeks. Now, I didn't charge them yet, but I had pre-orders for stuff that was coming out down the road. And for the first time in my time in the comic book industry, I was scared. I didn't know. For the first time, I thought maybe this is the end of my company. I might have to dissolve it or do something. But luckily, we were, most of the stores, if you were able to batten down the hatches, and if you already had an online presence, you were able to continue selling back issues and things online. But a lot of those stores that were just storefronts that had not cracked the online thing, I can't tell you how many I watched that were like, hey, our whole store is open for sale. We're getting rid of everything. We're at 70% off. And like the store you were mentioning in Hawaii, I want to say, if I remember right, now I'm just ballpark figuring, it was between 700 and 800 stores we lost last year that had to shut down permanently. And that sucks.
Right. Well, I saw an announcement on Facebook that one store was saying that they finally opened their doors.
Oh, okay, good.
So they were able to weather the storm. But, I mean, a shutdown of that nature is detrimental to across the board, the whole entire industry, and is a reason why that you shouldn't have just one distributor. And it's really strange the way that came about. As Diamond just started scooping up all the other distributors who were out there. Marvel ended up buying Heroes World and then shuttered that. And then they ended up with Diamond. And then Diamond bought all the other distributors. And then some others popped up, like Cold Cut. All their stuff went to a distributor called Haven. But they lasted maybe 2 years or so. And then other ones popped up. There's a new one that just popped up recently, Comic District.
Oh, where's that at?
It's more. They're doing print on demand.
Oh, okay.
So what they do is they
do it based on orders, right?
Right. So you place it. A retailer places an order, and then the books are printed on demand. So there's no warehouses for stores. So they're saving money in that regard.
That was
so I saw. Yeah. So I saw a few of my friends have hooked up with them. But I mean, you never know how long those things are going to last. Because like I was with Haven back in the day, and it was just like, oh, I shipped my books, and then they shut down, and where's my books? The books are just gone. They're just they're just floating in the ether somewhere in the warehouse somewhere, or they probably were thrown out. So I mean, it's good to have competition, and in any market, in any field, you need competition, not only for cost ratio and to help customers, but also to make yourself better. Like I want to be better than the guy across the street because we're both jockeying for the same stuff. Well, I want to be better than them, and you innovate. So I think that what ended up happening when DC left Diamond is that DC probably told them, you guys need to fix your stuff. Like as a creator, getting into Diamond is not easy. And it's not easy because the process is so is old. So it's still paper form, print out this form, fill this form out, ask all these questions. Like all that stuff should be digital now. There's no reason for me to print something out, fill it in, and then mail it somewhere. Like it should be digital, so it's faster, it's more efficient. And I'm pretty sure that Diamond came with them with that kind of stuff. It's like, you guys need to update your stuff. And it was a breaking point. They were like, all right, so you haven't done what we asked, so we're gone. And probably the same thing with Marvel. They probably said the same thing, like update your stuff. We need to be more concise and precise with this stuff. And it's so old. It's so 1990s.
It is.
And they figured that, okay, so you guys don't want it. We're going to go over here where it's nice and new and shiny. But I mean, we'll find, like I said, we'll find it in October because, you know, grass is not always greener.
True. And I like what you said too with DC, because from what I heard, there was some, rocky water between DC and Diamond, even pre-pandemic, that they had already stipulations. Because I'll tell you, as a retailer, one thing that I think competition is going to help in the distribution side is that Diamond, because they were the only ones, they didn't care how shitty their packing job was. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. Like, I'm not bashing, but that's one thing that they just don't do very well. Their books just come in 2 stacks with a flimsy piece of cardboard between them, no bubble wrap around that box. So that box, when it bangs around, I don't think I've ever had a week where I've had 0 damages from Diamond, ever. And I've been doing business with Diamond for 3 years. Lunar, on the other hand, they put the books inside of a box, had a thicker piece of cardboard and a board that goes behind a comic separating it. And there's bubble wrap that surrounds that box inside of another box. So it keeps it from, and I've never had a damage. I've not had any damages from Lunar. I've been using them since they switched me over from UCS to Lunar in December. So to me, I have to agree with you. I think competition, like you said, breeds innovation, and it also breeds, like, it puts you at a better level, because you're like, okay, if these guys do it this way, we need to do a better job so that people come to us too. And as a retailer, I don't mind having multiple accounts because I'm going to go with the one that's doing a better job. And with Diamond, before, we had no choice. You either ordered from Diamond or you didn't get your stuff.
Right. I mean, and I think that a lot of retailers have said to me that they only want to order from one source. They only wanted to order through Diamond. And now that this Penguin Random House thing is coming in, which again is another conglomerate, because they were 2 separate distributors before too. Penguin and Random were different. So it's all that mashup together that, I mean, I don't know if it's a good thing for us or not. But I mean, one of the examples I always put out there for what happens when you have no competition is EA. And Electronic Arts, they used to be one of the most innovative developers ever back in the 90s during like the Genesis SNES days with Madden football, NBA Live, things like that. And they've gotten complacent. So like you look at a game like Madden, it hasn't innovated itself in 15 years. It's been basically punching out the same game every year. And there's been a movement now for that to stop. And they're not taking it seriously. And people are like, people are just waiting for their moment to say, all right, we're not buying this anymore. And it's unfair to the consumer to monopolize something and then not put out your best foot forward in building a product. And this is what we need to understand about anytime there's something becomes a monopoly, it's going to be bad because innovation stops. You're not going to hire the best people. You want to bring in whoever you feel like can just get that status quo to stay at that same level where it's going to be that flat line, continuous across the board if you have a monopoly on something, because you don't care about being better than someone else, because there is no one else.
No, I agree. And I don't remember, I was too young not too young, but when Heroes World went on back in the 90s, I was still a kid. So I do remember walking to the comic stores and seeing advertisements by Hero World, advertisements by like different ones. And I just didn't realize at the time what that represented. Right. And I think, especially with concerning Marvel, when DC first left, I don't know if you remember, I know you remember. I don't know if people watching remember when Diamond did that variant cover of the On Sale Wednesday, kind of like slapping in the face to Luke. Because at the time, when DC left, they went to Lunar for all the Northwest, and they went to UCS for the East Coast and for us down here. Yeah. And when I saw the On Sale Wednesday covers, it was the laziest cover I've ever seen. So it was blank. No.
That was Marvel.
Yeah, but they were through, and it was through Diamond. So I think they were they were trying to like slap, like say, hey, we're staying. Yeah. And when I looked at it, I'm like, that's the cover you're going to use to say, hey, we're staying with Diamond? Like, really?
Yeah, people were talking about it, and they just thought it was a placeholder for something they were going to put on the cover, and it always that ended up being the cover. I'm like, there are people like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I think they had like for Guardians of the Galaxy, it was Star-Lord's face. I'm trying to remember all the different ones. And it was color, with one symbol. It was the laziest, not comeback, but the laziest, like saying, hey, we're staying with Diamond and you're going with DC that I've ever seen. And now you look a year later, I think Marvel finally looked and said, wait a minute, Lunar is successful. DC is still pumping their books out. Maybe there's something to doing our own thing.
Right. And like I said, that is that with the Penguin Random House thing is that they've proven that they can distribute to bookstores.
Yes.
So now it's a different game.
It is
when you're distributing to comic stores. It's going to be really interesting to see how they're going to pack the books and everything. I'm just really interested to see how this is going to go. It would be cool if we could do a video that day.
Yeah, I love
unpacking of the books as we go. And we can critique their packing abilities.
No, you know what? We'll do that. What I'll do is because my account is still being, so one thing that I do like the Penguins doing is they're taking their time with it. So I submitted all my stuff, very similar application process to Lunar and to what Diamond's original one is, that you had to, have your retail license, your reseller's license, so tax, all the stuff you need for a business. But it takes like 7 days. And I think it's because so many people I don't think they expected so many people to leave right away to come over, but they offered some incentives. They offered like variant covers that you can only get if you move in by May 1st or if you apply on May 1st. Yeah. So they've done a good job on making it appealing to go. And so one thing I do think would be really cool to do is the week that happens, what I'd like to do is have my Lunar box, my Diamond box, and my first Random House box, and just do a live opening. And maybe I'll live stream with you and I'll have it right here and I'll turn the camera so we can like see how it looks. Because one thing that Penguin Random House has going for them that I remember from when I was in when I was writing my books and publishing is when you pack books, a novel, of course, is thicker and weighs more. So they're used to making sure that things don't shift and things don't move. So I think that their packing job is probably going to be over the top at first because they are used to heavier shipments. So I don't expect it to be, I don't expect to really, and I might jinx myself, but I don't see too many damages because I don't know if you recall when Harry Potter came out. Like, I don't know if you were into the Harry Potter craze. Were you a big Harry Potter fan?
No, I've never read it.
Okay, so I'm not gonna. That's okay. So, but when I was a kid, it was huge, and I remember standing in line at midnight. And this is what I want. One thing I want. This ties directly into distribution and communication. Yeah. I was in line at midnight when book 4 came out, Goblet of Fire. I want to say I was early high school, I think. And a couple of my friends, we got in line. We got there at 10 p.m. The line was outside the store, so I thought we got there early. I'm like, there's like maybe 30 people outside. We're good to go. No. Inside, that line went around inside the rows all throughout the store. They said there was over 2,000 people at the Books A Million that was right down. So when you think of distribution, here's the crazy part. They didn't run out of books. Books A Million had enough to give everybody there at the midnight release and enough to stock their shelves. So I do think that going to a publisher or going to a distributor that does books, I think is an advantage that Marvel has instead of taking someone like Lunar, who's not really as big, who had to prove themselves. Random House has already kind of established that. So I'm hoping that it'll be smooth, but like you said, it's really going to be a waiting game, to be honest. I'm kind of nervous.
Yeah. I mean, but it's that anticipation, nervousness of, oh man, let's see how this is going to go, because now all the people who were saying we only want to order from Diamond, now you've crossed now you're crossing a bridge. Are they still going to order through Diamond to get books from another distributor? I mean, that sounds just kind of weird to me that you become a wholesaler, like, oh, we're still just going to order through Diamond, who has to then have to buy the books from another distributor to ship them to them, so then they can ship them to someone else. It's like, what?
Well, say what, girl?
Like, yeah, the books have to come from Penguin Random House. They have to unpack it and put it in another box and ship it back out again.
And I'll tell you what, that scares the shit out of me, because when they just take them straight off the line or however they do it, they screw it up that way. So can you imagine those people getting a box in, unpackaging and putting them into another box? I think the damages from that are going to be catastrophic. Unless they change the way they do it and they try to change their packing jobs, they are going to completely ruin some books with that. And so, like, I'll tell you from a retailer perspective, Diamond sent me an email not too long ago, and it said, just to let you know, we're still going to order Marvel. So if you want to order from us, we still are going to carry Marvel. But here's the kicker. They go, but we don't know what the discount category is going to look like. Yeah. So in my head, what I'm thinking is, now you're taking away my 55, which you can get 55 to another percentage discount off. So you're taking away, if they were to lower that, let's say to, because they're gonna have to lower it to make money. Let's say they say we're gonna give you 25% off. No one's gonna order through Diamond. At least nobody who has a business sense is gonna order Marvel through Diamond. It makes zero logical business sense to continue, like you said, to order from one distributor who's getting it from another one. You're running the risk of damaging a book twice. And at that, like, I've got people that order incentive variants. I'm not going to risk a 1 in 50 or a 1 in 25 getting screwed up because too many people are handling it.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, there's going to be some stubborn people out there who want to do it anyway. It doesn't matter how much it costs. It's like, I'm not ordering from anybody but Diamond. You're not going to make me.
Well, now, did you, so I don't know if you guys, so some of you guys may not have seen this. There were some stores that put signs up when DC first left and said, oh, we're loyal customers to Diamond. I can't believe DC's doing this. This is bullshit. And like really like adamant, like we talked pre-show about people throwing mudslinging and shit talking, and it was bad. Like one of the ones around here did that, and then what did he do 6 months later? He's ordering from Lunar. I'm like, man, you can't. You're sitting there pretending to be a kid in the corner throwing a tantrum, and 6 months later you get your lollipop that you wanted. Now you're getting all your stuff, and you're saying how good Lunar is and all this stuff. Come on.
Yeah, I did see that a bunch of stores did say they were dropping DC. I don't know if they repicked them back up, but they had sales to clean out their DC stock, and they said they weren't ordering from DC anymore.
Oh, so they even cleaned out back stock. Now, the biggest one I saw, and one of the ones here, which I'm not going to name drop, one of the ones here posted a email from it. He literally copied the email the post that Mile High Comics said. Their original thing said, Steve Jeppy's been a close friend of ours. They've always worked with us. A big, long thing, probably would have been 5 pages long in letter format about defending Diamond and how they would never leave and go to it. Now, I'm all about supporting who's been, I mean, because without Diamond, I wouldn't have had a storefront to begin with. So I'm not going to ever say that they've been terrible. But at the same time, DC at the time, when DC left Diamond, they made up 40% of my income. So for me to say, buy DC, I'm going to focus on these, I would have had to make it that 40%. And then I could have done it, but you would have been scrounging, really grinding to get people to shift from that. And you could potentially lose consumers that like Batman, that like things like that. So for me, I had to bite the bullet, reapply, and hope. And the good thing is, once you get an account with Diamond, if another distributor sees that, you typically get accepted from them because you've already passed the hardest one to get. Right. So there wasn't really a risk of losing that. But I will say that one thing Lunar and UCS did, they cut down on eBay stores. You couldn't get an account if you were an eBay store. And Diamond, if you had all the stuff and you knew what to say when they were asking your questions, I do know of some eBay stores that snuck in there and got accounts with them. And Lunar, absolutely not. They needed to see, you either had to have the Facebook page, a website, proof of sales, all that, which to me was great because I'm like, good, I'm not going to compete with some Joe Schmo who's ordering only 15 books a week and selling their shit on eBay, Yeah,
right, on eBay in it, yeah. I mean, it's just such a weird time right now, and that COVID thing was a sword right down the middle of an entire industry. And I'm really, it's really good to see that not only are stores coming back online, there's been some new stores opening recently.
Yes.
So it's good that like we lost some stuff, but it's nice that some stores are coming up to try to replace that. But I mean, it's really hard when you lose things that have been, it's like a staple, like this, like I said, the store in Hawaii, 30 years. It's a long time to have a store open and just be like, okay, I just can't deal, and just close it down.
And there were a lot, and there were a lot of sad stories that you would read about of another store. Like there were some stores that were even told you can't do curbside pickup at first. They were very strict on what you could do. So they literally were sitting there with all this inventory, still paying their rent, still paying electric, water, all that, and no income coming in. So I was fortunate enough to still be just an online store, not to worry about that. But I'll tell you, when that happened, I think it was the first time in my adult life where I really thought the comic industry was threatened in a way that had never experienced up to that point. And I think the bounce back that we've seen from it has been nothing short of incredible. And I do think that we're going to see, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm seeing more of a push towards more independent books even from this, because there's more, with Diamond and all these ones leaving, and people are realizing, okay, it's not all about DC and Marvel. They're looking at everything else. And I think that like you said, having multiple distributors now, more stores opening that are online or ones that are storefronts, they're ordering. a very diverse set of books. It's not just like back in the 90s, if you walked in a comic shop, Marvel, DC, Image, and maybe a small section of a few other books. When now you're seeing the opposite. Marvel has, you know, a decent amount, DC's got a decent amount, and then there's a big swath of stuff from Image, Valiant, Aftershock, Second Sight, all these different ones that are coming in. And I, for one, I love it. I think it's fantastic.
It's been good, and I think that you're back in. If we go backwards a little bit, back into the 90s and the early 2000s, is that the quality of books has gone up as far as indies have gone. Where
for sure
you had a lot of in the 90s, you had a lot of the same stuff. It was almost Marvel DC light.
Yes.
Now the books are taking more of a different look at the world and can provide a lot of different things because you've got seasoned creators now that are working on these books, seasoned writers, seasoned artists, seasoned editors, and churning out product that some people are saying is better than what Marvel and DC are putting out there now.
I have to say I would agree with that. It's like I said when we've talked before that, you know, when I was a kid, you just read what everybody says to read. You read other people's, you know, Spider-Man, Superman, things like that. And then when you get older, your taste buds change in a way, and you start to dabble in other things. And I myself, I love reading something that either takes me by surprise or takes me to a new world that I haven't visited before, or a new set of characters that I've never seen before. Yeah. And it keeps it fresh, because if you do the same thing over and over, that's like when you talked about the EA thing. When you get the same thing over and over, eventually it's like, I'm just not going to buy anymore. What's the point? It's the same stuff rehashed consistently, and people don't like that. They don't want that.
Right. So there was an episode of The Simpsons like that where Lisa was trying to create a new doll to take the place of the Malibu Stacy doll, and they were getting ready to release it to the stores, and it was on the shelf, and they walked in, and they saw there was a Malibu Stacy doll with a hat. So they all didn't buy the new doll; they went after the new one because it had a hat. And that's just the old consumerism thing, where you can present somebody something that's the same exact thing with a new wrinkle on it. All of a sudden it's brand new. It's new. It's like, no, it's not. It's the same thing with a new wrinkle. That's what EA's been doing with Madden for so long. It's like, oh, they've got new rosters. Oh, they've got some new animations, but the game is still the same. Okay, let's buy it. No.
Well, you're right. I mean, that's the problem that I think any entertainment industry faces at some point.
Yes.
And I think one thing that I want to ask you about too, and it's an honest question, because I just really want to know what your opinion of it is. Do you think that Marvel and DC leaving one exclusive deal? So because Marvel and DC were very specific. It's not like, hey, I'm going to go to Lunar and still ship through you. It's, hey, I'm leaving you completely and going to these two new ones. So they completely left Diamond out of that, you know, income that they would have made from it. Do you think that this could spell the end of Diamond? Do you think that they're still going to be able to maintain it or do you see more publishers leaving to go to these other two distributors? Like, what do you think is going to happen in like the next year or two?
That's a very good question, and it's funny because I've talked to a few people about this before. Diamond is in the position right now where those things that people were being complained about before, they have to fix. They have to do it. They have to fix it now. They have to make it, I don't want to say easier to get into that catalog, but they should be opening it up more to other publishers, other creators. There's a lot of good books out there that people are missing because they can't get them to retailers. Like, there are very few, or I won't say very few, of the ones that I've contacted. A lot of them are saying, we want you to be in Diamond because we only want to order from one place. It's difficult to order with sending PayPal and have to track that and track this and track that. I get it. I mean, but at the same time, if a customer walks into the store and they say, I want X book, and X book is not in Diamond, you as a retailer should find a way to get that book into that store because the customer's asking for it. And I've heard a lot of stories where people have walked into the store and say, hey, I want that, even if it's in Diamond, I want that book. And the store's like, we're not ordering that. Why?
No, it's true. Like, it's funny you mention that because I've seen the same thing where you'll walk in. I'll walk in as a cup before the local shops knew I was a retailer because I didn't really want to say anything because I want them to kind of be like, don't come in my shop. You never know what how they're gonna respond, which now we're all pretty good. But I remember walking in and I heard somebody ask him, it was Sabrina. It was now, which I don't personally order. I've never read Sabrina, but he said, hey, do you have any Sabrina comics? And without looking up, I don't know what the guy was, what the word, it wasn't the owner, it wasn't the manager, but he's looking down at something. Without looking up, he goes, we don't order that, but if you look over there, I think there's stuff that has to do with magic and stuff. Never made eye contact, kept looking down, didn't even check the POS system, nothing. And I was like, are you like, where, in what frame of mind does that make any sense that you treat your customer that way? If you don't know you have it, oh, let me check and see if I have that. It takes 10 seconds to look it up. Oh, we don't have it, but hey, what issues do you want? I can order it from Diamond right now. Why would you not, like you just said, why would you not order? Like I tell my people who buy from me, I don't care what you buy. You order, pre-order whatever you want. If it's a book, like I don't know, like I can't think of one randomly off the top of my head, but one that nobody else wants, I don't care. You want that book, I'll order one copy for you. I don't have to order 3. Like you can order to the chest and make sure, hey, if no one else wants this book, I'll get one. And if it ends up being a good book, you go, oh shit, this is a really good series. I'm going to order more now the next time I can place an order.
Right.
And
have you ever seen Comic Hub?
Say it again.
Comic Hub.
Yes.
So even a system like that, you can go in there, put a book in, and it'll show you who has it in stock. You can even say, hey, I don't have it, but store this across town has it. Let me call them up and see if he'll send it to me. If not, I'll let them know you're coming. Go pick it up.
True.
Treat your customers with respect, and they will continuously come back and spend money on you just because you were nice to them. Like, oh, this guy was really cool. Let me go just buy something just cause.
See, that's exactly it. If you don't have what they're asking for, but you create a relationship with them, 9 times out of 10, they're going to stay and peruse the store because you gave them attention and you showed them that you cared. And if they peruse the store, they're bound to find something, whether it's even if they only buy a thing of bags or a thing of boards. Either way, they're in your shop, they're looking around. You may have just gained somebody that comes and gives you a pull list next week of 20 titles. You have no idea what this person walking in does. And when we look at when we go back to with Diamond, I think that Diamond not being the main distributor is also forcing retailers to not be so stagnant, because now you got multiple accounts you've got to worry about. You got different FOC dates you have to worry about. DC's on Sunday, Diamond's on Monday. So you can't just sit there and put your feet up on your desk and just look at one site. You have to be more diligent and you have to grind more. And I think a lot of stores, they don't want to do that. They want it easy, they want it simple, and they want it through one person. And
well, I was on some channel, I don't remember which one it was, and they were telling a story about a retailer who had just recently got a computer because he wants to do all his stuff on paper, all his orders on paper.
What?
Yeah.
On paper.
Yeah, he wants to fax it to Diamond.
Like that. See, that kind of why are we talking about going backwards? Why are storefronts? And you know what's funny? You mentioned that. I walked into the store the other day and this guy's got a big printout of Excel stuff. And I walked in and I go, Daryl, I go, what the hell is all that? And he goes, oh, this is my retailer order form from Diamond. Don't you order one of these? I'm like, no. I'm like, why do I order that? I'm like, the interface you go through. So if you guys aren't familiar with it, you pull up your initial order that you put in every month for 2 months ahead of time. It lists every single book, every single toy, every single game, whatever that's offered through that distributor. And you enter it in online. It's very simple. Yet this guy's got a stack that, dude, no joke, Marvin, it's this thick. And I'm like, and he's going through with a pen. I'm like, oh my God. And I asked him, I said, Daryl, do you just not want to do it on there? He goes, look, I'm old fashioned. I like doing it this way. I'm like, so in my head, I said, you know what? You want more work for yourself? Have fun. Because you can't change people sometimes,
Right. People will only change when they want to.
Yeah.
But
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's more work that way. But like I'm saying is that we're going to see what's going to happen with Diamond. Like I said, that their best option is to clean up the mess that Marvel and DC were asking. If they were asking for, I don't know. I just heard things.
Well, I mean, and that's the
And
thing. It is hearsay. We don't know, but we can assume they're going to have the same problems that we were having with it:
right.
damaged books, late
And
shipments.
and if I was running it, what I would do is I would have a whole entire calendar month of invitations saying that we're doing open, like an open enrollment period, where we're going to set up online and allow you to talk to us, chat with us, and pitch your book to us, either YouTube or something, and just go wild with it, and then do pitches back and forth like that, and then I know they do a roundtable where they say yes or no to certain things. And I mean, it seems like that's something that could be done live, and do it with these people on a call or something, and say that we're going to green light your book. Let's get it through and get you set up.
Well, this is I want to ask you about this earlier, and what you just said brought it up to me. You were talking about how difficult it is to get into Diamond. So,
Yeah.
are you talking about as a creator, it's difficult to get in there? Can you kind of like give us a little bit of insight into that? Because I'm not familiar with that side of it.
Right. So, from what I've been told and what I've heard and what I've seen, so you go onto Diamond's site, and there's a creator portal, and there's like a bunch of links that tells you, we want you to have this many likes on Facebook, this many followers on Twitter, this many followers on Instagram. We want you to have a website. We want you to have a business plan. So then there's a form you have to fill out, and you put your name, your information, your books, all your social media, how many followers do you have, all the other stuff, and it's all paper. So then you either send them a finished copy of the book, or you print out pages and mail it to them. And then they have a round table where they sit around and they say yes, no, yes, no. A former publisher that I worked with was turned down multiple times by them. And I think some of the times it's about word of mouth almost, or almost if you know someone who's in Diamond can give a word to you, get a good word to you to get you into Diamond. And I think that's where it's lost, where that one single person who's doing a book all by themselves would never have an opportunity. So what I should say is that you do that open enrollment thing where someone can pitch to you in video or whatever on YouTube or something, and give them an opportunity to get into that catalog, because you're losing your number one customer in Marvel. So you need to fill that gap.
Big time.
So you're going to need more product in there. You can't just count on the things that you already have, because you don't know who may walk next.
So so as a publisher, that's what you have to do. You have to do this whole packet and submit. I did not know that, because when you were mentioning like paper stuff, I'm like, I don't remember filling out, because as a retailer, here's the crazy part. As a retailer, it's all online forms. Why can't you apply the same process for creators? If you're making it somewhat simple. Now, granted, I had to upload like copies of business licenses and shit like that. So why can't you, like, they should apply the same principle and setup for that for publishers? Because like you said, honestly, you could be turning down, you could be turning down the next generation, or even not even generation, the next big person who's got the next, could be the next biggest thing, just because you have a system that's flawed and outdated.
Right. And I mean, they should be picking at Kickstarters and Indiegogos and saying that, this made this much money, people want it, let's contact them, get them into this catalog. Because I mean, I don't think, and I don't know if there's a person at Diamond that does that, where they're just going around and looking at product and being like, oh man, we got to get these guys. So I don't know if it's a situation where they actually wait for someone to submit, or are they going out and perusing and trying to find that next book that they think is going to be good.
Well, I know a friend of mine who's who's an artist. His name's Wade King. It's called Art of Wade King. He's actually his stuff's really booming online right now. He's been doing it for about 3-4 years, and just this past year, he's actually had artists that work with Marvel, Image, DC, different ones, liking his stuff and commenting on it. So he's finally getting to a point where he's finally seeing some income from it, stuff like that. And he told me that now this is pre-COVID, obviously, but right before COVID hit, he was at a Comic-Con, and he said they actually had people walking around from Marvel and DC, and he said that there was actually a Diamond booth but he said they were the only one that no one was walking around looking at creators. But Marvel, which is weird. But Marvel, DC, they had lanyards. They're walking up, checking out stuff, and he said people were getting picked up. And yet Diamond, he said there were like 4 or 5 employees or whatever, whoever was there, that just stood back there. I'm like, that is your moment to go walk around and pick up somebody that wants to get picked up, and you could pull them in right there. And then, I mean, that, like you said, there's a huge gap now with Marvel and DC gone. That is a huge gap that you better damn well fill, or else other publishers are going to leave and go to these other 2 distributors as well.
Yeah. Well, you would think that like we have that Scout is with Lunar, but now you see that it's not exclusive.
Yeah.
That could change at any time. Like if they feel like that they're doing better for them, they're like, okay, well, we're just going to walk. But I mean, you've got. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with IDW with their problems right now because they're spending so much money on licensing, and the money not coming back the other way. So who knows what's going to happen there? Like Transformers G.I. Joe could be back at Marvel next year or something.
Yeah, and then and I heard that too. I was surprised by that. I didn't realize that was something was in the works, that they were risking losing those licenses for those. I didn't know that.
Well, yeah, this has been tough for like the last 2 years. This has been a problem for them.
I just recently, like I want to say maybe 3-4 months ago, really stumbled upon that. And I was like, oh God, like those are two of IDW's biggest. Those are big titles.
Yeah, and then you got Valiant. And who knows what's going on with them? Are they even publishing any books right besides Bloodshot?
No. So the funny thing is, Valiant. The last thing when I looked at my FOC order form over the last, I'd say maybe 6-7 months, the only one I remember seeing was Bloodshot, maybe only 1 or 2 times, which I didn't order any because nobody pre-ordered it. And I think I saw Man of War. Is that Valiant?
Yes.
So but that was it. I didn't see, like, Valiant has been strangely quiet, where before they would have some stuff that was coming out. They had a few titles that were selling, and I heard, now this is rumor mill stuff, so I'm not trying to start a rumor or spread one, but I did hear the Boom Studios, when Marvel left, they took a look at Penguin, and I heard they're kind of doing what Marvel did with DC for Lunar, where they're waiting to see what happens in October. And if it does well, they might pull and go to Penguin as well. I heard that was
No. I mean, you can't continuously bleed publishers without being able to replace it with something. I mean, it could take 5 or 6 of them to replace Boom, but I mean, you're just going to take 10, 20 more to replace Marvel. Maybe you not get on the ball with that and get ready for it, and say that we need to open up the gates and see what we can find and get out to the stores.
Yeah, and like you said, I don't think that this, if Diamond was to, the best you can hope for is that this makes Diamond become a better company. This makes Steve Deppy take a deeper look at what has gone on from the ground level up, and really kind of renovate and update and change things. And if it does, who's to say that down the road, DC sees that they really have tried. DC and Marvel down the road, maybe they'll, now I don't know if they'd be able to. I think Marvel signed an exclusive deal for like 3 years or something with Penguin. It was a multi-year contract. I know that. But who knows? Maybe if they see the Diamond turns it around, maybe they will be, sharing this. I mean, the only reason exclusivity works for those other distributors is they're making all the money from that publisher. So that's why it's easy for Marvel and DC to go pull, because Lunar and Penguin, oh hell yeah, we'll take that. Bring that money over here. We'll take it. We'll do what you want done. I mean, that's a lot of money that they're throwing at distributors that way. So I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't have an account yet approved through Penguin. So as of right now, when people say, "Are you going to have Marvel books in October?" my answer is I don't know. Yeah, because I'm not.
I would probably say they'll have that all closed up and ready by August.
That's what they said. They said that they would have it ready to go to where in August you could place your full initial order for October, which is at the same amount of time that the Diamond has been doing. So I'm not too worried about it. I think it's just insane how much turmoil the industry has gone through in the last year. I mean, if you told me 2 years ago this was going to happen, I probably would have laughed at you and said, what drugs are you taking? And like, it's because I wouldn't. The Diamond was so huge that it was unquestioned. It wasn't even brought up that somebody else would come in and take away their 2 big publishers. I would have never guessed that 2 years ago.
Right. But that's free enterprise, right?
Yep. No, I think it's a good thing. I really do.
At any time, anybody can come in and say, "Hey, I want that."
Well, and you know what it is too. It just shows that and this is a good thing to say, that there's nothing set in stone. You know,
Yeah.
like to me, if one company controls all of it, then like you said, you just lose sight of things. You lose sight of why you started the company to be. And I think that happened with some of them. You know, you lose sight of why'd you get into being a distributor in the first place. You want to get books out to people to read, not all the gray areas and all the other stuff you have. I mean, I think that this is definitely shaking them up enough to where hopefully, you know, they start to change. I don't know. I have not seen anything from my end yet change. The shipping is still the same. In fact, this last week, they I don't know, it was on UPS's fault. Like Lunar uses FedEx, but Diamond uses UPS. They scanned my thing wrong and sent my whole damn package back to the sender. So I had none of my books come in from Diamond this week. It was a big shipment. I'm like, oh, sorry, I can't control that. So it's on the way back now. But I'm like, damn it. Like, you know, it kind of puts me up shit creek without a paddle, you know, or with one paddle.
I mean, but that's another issue is our current woes with shipping.
Oh my God. That could be a 2-part episode in and of itself. I mean,
so just to let you know, I used to work at the post office, so I know what's going on now.
Oh my God. I've had so many packages that I dropped off and they said were sent, and my buyers will say, hey, it's not showing movement. I walk in and it's in the back room. I'm like, why is that in the back room when I dropped it off 4 days ago? Like, get that shit out, man. I already paid for it. And there's no rhyme or reason to and one thing with shipping or one thing that's it's kind of on the comic front, but more on the card front, and I'll show the thing is these little babies right here, Pokemon cards. I cannot get, I'm still short quite a hefty amount of Pokemon cards from a set that came out in February. And when I contact them, they go, oh, well, when they come in, they'll come in. No, what they're doing is sending everything to Target and Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
So that
the Target thing is another one.
I know we're getting into all, but it's distribution. It's a related topic. I mean, it's crazy shit.
I can tell you some stories about their exclusive G.I. Joe action figures. It's a mess.
Oh, really?
So real quick, and then if you want to wrap up or the topic. So they've been doing exclusive G.I. Joe figures. So they've done exclusives, the Cobra Viper figure. Yeah. And a few others. And people go to the stores, they don't exist. Like I haven't, so when I think, was it been 2 years since they started G.I. Joe classified line to 6-inch figures? Yeah. I have not seen one of those figures in a Target, a Walmart, or any other store.
You've never seen them?
Nope. Never in any of the stores that are in Pittsburgh. Never, any of them. So
are they like pretending to sell them, or what do you think is going on with that?
I don't know if they ever get them. Like I don't know if they get distributed to those stores. I can't say because I've never seen them there. They don't have pegs for them.
Oh my God. Oh, that's okay. That's bad. If there's no place to even to put them on your shelf. That's pretty bad.
Yeah. And then the Marvel Legends, the same thing. Like if I don't pounce on these things, the minute they're up on like Target or Amazon, I'll never get them.
No, it sucks because me as a retailer, you would think I'd get my stuff sent to me on time. I now have to go wait in line at Target sometimes to get Pokemon stuff because my distributor is like, I ordered, I think it was 40 of the Elite Trainer boxes for Shining Fates. Mm-hmm. I'm still short 21 of them. So I'm like, and here's the crazy part. My sales reps, they're kind of similar to Diamond. My sales, because they're owned, it's Alliance Games. They're owned by Diamond, ironically enough. And so he tells me, well, it is what it is. We'll keep sending them as they print. And I'm like, you're printing a shitload to like Target and Walmart are getting thousands of them. Why can't you send me my 21 that I need? I just need 21 of these damn things. And it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's really strange that, like you said, that you can get thousands of cards to Target, but you can't get these daggone G.I. Joes or Marvel Legends figures in these daggone stores.
It makes zero sense.
I just don't understand. Like, Hasbro, they do their Monday fans first or Fridays fans first. Yeah. Video things, and they're like, oh, right now if you go on Hasbro Pulse, we're pre-ordering this, and I go there and it's already sold out. How do you sell out on pre-order? Like, why would like? You keep orders going until forever. All you're doing is printing a figure. You print a figure for every sale you make, right? Or you print more than you need. Back in the 80s, I used to walk into the store and G.I. Joes and Transformers for a whole entire aisle.
All over the place.
Yeah. Now you walk in there and it's just empty. Like, I feel bad for any child that walks into a store looking for a toy. Because you ain't finding it. It ain't going to be there.
No, dude, 100%. And then that's one thing that's frustrating is these scalpers are going in and they're buying so much. I'm like, look, I understand you're trying to make a buck, but you know what? You want to make the money, go do what those of us who are retailers who've done. Go out there and get an account, get your shit set up the right way, and we wouldn't have this problem. But they want to go out there because kids aren't able to get it. And I do feel bad for you know, anybody, you know, 7 years old to 14 that's trying to collect those things. Good luck. I mean, right now, like you said, it's you know, look at the tumbleweed go across the desert. There's nothing down the aisles of those toy stores.
And it's sad because I don't, like, you would think that if because they have their POSs are set up to show them when inventory is missing, is gone. Every sale should be tick down to zero. And I go back like another week later and it's still empty. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's when you and that does tie directly to Diamond stuff. When you look at all the stuff going on, that's one thing that the pandemic has screwed up is in terms of distribution. They are really struggling with keeping up with the demand. That they are not, the supply and demand, like usually it was pretty close. Now you've got supply down here and demand is way up here, and I don't see that changing, at least not yet, not until they can get everything back on point. I mean,
right. Well, I mean, even before that, like, reorders from Diamonds took time too. Like,
oh my God, terrible, terrible. Dude, there were times I'd order like a random book from Diamond, and I'm like, okay, it should be in next week. Crickets. A month later comes in, like, who the hell was this for again? Who ordered this one? Who wanted Amazing Spider-Man 43 cover 8? What the hell do they want? I mean. So I think that the next few months will definitely be worth watching to see what happens with Diamond, within Diamond. And, you know, I'm curious to see what, you know, right now, you know, Marvel's got to be going nuts trying to get everything transitioned over. And I'll keep you updated too. And we'll keep all of you updated when things come. If I get more emails from Diamond about what's changing or if anything is being updated. But
I would hope that they're planning to go live or on YouTube or something and give updates on this stuff and say that this is what we're changing, this is what we're fixing, this is what we're bringing on board and everything like that. Like, they need to be more transparent in what they're doing.
Yes, that's exactly the word. Because right now it's almost like the Wizard of Oz. You see this this supposedly great company, but you never get to see any inner workings. You never know what's going on with it, and it almost creates not a sense of distrust, but a sense of unease with what's going on. And if, like you said, they would do a video if Steve Jeppy would do, you know, a video talking about it or an interview or something where he, like, I would love to get a hold of Steve Jeppy, like content, say, hey, listen, can I do an interview with you for an hour talking about what's gone on? What are your plans? I would love to do something like that. Now, granted, he'd probably say, don't ever sell books to Comics, Cards, and Brew, that mother, like, you know, I don't want to like bash me or anything, but I really would like to know what their plans are, how they're gonna, because this is the biggest wrench in the gears they've experienced ever.
Right.
So I think it's definitely a waiting game, and I'm hoping. It seems like it's not affecting you, right? Like with Second Sight, you guys are good. It's not affecting your.
No, I mean, I haven't heard anything, but like I said, that it's a waiting game, and until October 1 hits, we don't know. We don't know what's coming or what's going to happen. So that's why I said that I would hope that Diamond would be more transparent with their inner workings, and I mean, even do like a video tour of their facilities and things like that. Show
that'd be awesome.
Something. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Even if it's like they did with the guy from Mythbusters, where they took him they took him to the McDonald's factory, and the factory was perfectly clean. I'm like, oh, that's bullcrap. There's no way. That's a brand new factory you guys just put on TV. Is fake.
Yeah, there's no way it's real. And you know, and that's so. Speaking of new things coming out, and with Marvin, so guys, his second book, his second release now is up on. I saw it in previews, and I have to say, when I saw it, I was like, oh, I got like a little excited. I'm like, oh shit, there it is. So you will be, guys, if you want to place pre-orders for that, for issue 2 of The Edge, if you'd like to place pre-orders, you can comment on this video or message the page. Let us know. I will be ordering quite a few. I'll be ordering some signed ones, hopefully too, for my own collection for myself. But
Well, the good thing is now is that you can order both covers. It's not the
I saw that.
half get one. So yeah.
I had to say,
So
I love that. I like that you got a cover A and a cover B with it. I like it.
right. So we do have a third cover for that one. It will be exclusive through Second Sight whenever the store is up, or possibly through me again. If I'm going to try to get some copies of that. So that's going to be the Revenant cover.
Oh, okay. So
Right.
just you let me know whether I need to order it from you or from Second Sight, but I for sure will be getting my hands on that. I'll tell you that much.
So I think that every book moving forward will have at least 3 covers.
See, and I love that. I love having to, because usually each cover depicts a different part of the story or a different character, and I love that. I'll have one that I'll read, one that is my favorite cover. Whatever one ends up being my favorite cover, I don't touch it. It's like my sacred one I put to the side in my collection that I don't touch.
So yeah, I've been sitting on a few of them that I haven't shown, and I think that people are going to be really excited for some of the ones that are, especially ones that are coming later, where we've got some pretty good artists that we picked through to get covers done by.
Awesome.
So we got some surprises coming up on or with covers too.
Yes,
some
I love it.
I've been like hammering and begging for a while to, man, please do a cover, please do a cover. So we're going to get some of that stuff going.
Awesome.
I had a checklist, and my checklist, I had 10 artists on the checklist. One was impossible. Well, maybe 2 were impossible, but I got 3, so I'm happy.
You got number 3. See,
yeah.
Well, so here's the good thing. You're giving me little nuggets of information to plug into my next interview, where I interview you about when issue 2 gets ready to come out. Because I'll tell you this, guys, if you've not gotten issue 1, so here's the crazy thing. I think I'd ordered from Diamond originally 12 to 15. I actually had to order for 5 before you even contacted me. And then once we talked, I increased my order. I only have 2 copies left, guys, of the original cover, and I'm sold out on the exclusive connected signed cover. So, so if any sign to you guys need to jump on it now.
Yeah, we are looking at a second print, and we've got 3 covers in the hopper for that one. But there's only one be chosen. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. I was thinking about doing a online poll so people will pick the cover, but I need to talk with Bradley and see if we can do something like that, because we got 3 covers to use that we could use.
I like it. I think we'll keep us updated for sure, Marvin. Let us know what's going on with that. So
yeah, we're like I said, we're going to have some fun with it, and we're going to make it interactive.
That's what it's about, man. Having fun. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know we did. We always had Marvin and I could sit here and talk for hours, and just keep on going. As long as we had something to wet our whistles, we'd be good to go. But Marvin, thank you so much for being here again, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
And we'll see you guys next time.